Hi guys, okay, so we are now on day 6, is it? Yeah, I think it's day 6. Okay, so I've been answering questions on Vlogmas that people have sent me in, and there's been loads. There's been a lot of similar questions, but I'm gonna answer the question from Jess, who is on my Instagram. And Jess asked me what it was like for me in school and how I dealt with emotions. So when I was at school, and we're talking secondary school, it tends to be when people's, when all the angst happens. When I was in school, I started on television as an actress when I was 12. So really early into my going into school years, I was on television. So that made my experience really different. Now, strangely enough, these days, it probably wouldn't be quite, well, I don't know, it might be completely even worse, but I feel like everybody's on this platform now. So I had this platform where we didn't have social media, so it was, people were watching television at the time, and I think the show was getting about 2 million viewers at the time. It was kind of in its heyday. It was a show called Biker Grove here in the UK, and so it was watched by a lot of people. It wasn't on all the time. I wasn't like superstar status or anything, but people would know who I was if they watched the show. And so at school, people knew me as the girl off the television. And when I was, how was I? 13, I actually moved schools. And I moved schools with a friend of mine, but I moved schools for a few reasons. I found it very difficult being on television and going to a normal school. I still went to a normal school after, but I found that quite difficult and a bit of a transition. I found it difficult to go from primary school into secondary school, and being on television, everybody suddenly changed towards me. And I found that really difficult, and so I moved schools. I moved with a friend, and yeah, it wasn't easy at school for me, I'm not gonna lie. I look back now and I can see some of the reasons for it, but at the time it was really difficult. I used to go into school and somebody would want to fight me, and it wasn't straightforward. And I've always been smart, so I was always in the popular group at school. I was always the popular kid that knocked about with the rough kids, and but I had my out. So I think when you're in school and it's tough, because I think everybody largely goes through a bit of a tough time in secondary school, because you're finding your own feet and you find out who you are, and everybody else is just trying to do the same thing around them as well. And I think having another thing for me outside of school was really useful. So something that didn't have anything to do with school, me going to do filming was my outlet, was my way of knowing that this wouldn't be forever. And I think that's the thing to remember, that whatever you're going through right now, all the tough stuff, because there will be, because genuinely it's not just you, all those crazy thoughts you have in your head and how negative you feel and all that teenage stuff, it goes away. And you're not the only person feeling it. All of your friends who seem like they've got it all together and they're posting amazing selfies on Instagram, they feel the same insecurities as you do. So you're not weird, even though you feel it right now. And I think having something else and remembering that this isn't forever. It's so consuming when you're in school. It feels really, really like there's no end in sight, but there genuinely is. And I can tell you now from experience, and I didn't have it easy at school, obviously. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of it, but it wasn't straightforward for me at school. And actually, even when I left school, in the first 6 months, I would say, there was still a couple of people that wanted to try and fight me in bars. They know who they are, you mental bastards. Who continued that on. But now, I'm lucky if I speak to anybody that I went to school with. I've got a few friends who I went to school with, and I might bump into people now and then, or people will message me on social media, but really, well and truly, when you leave school, you can leave it all behind, and it doesn't have to define who you are. And all the stuff that you're going through now will shape you, because it shaped me. I can actually remember when I signed to Sony, as a singer. I signed as a solo artist to Sony, and it was really the infancy of like social media and internet stuff, and people were just starting to work out how to set up little websites and things like that themselves, like normal people, not like website designers. And I remember when my single was I was just starting to do the circuits of like MTV and stuff, and there was a website set up about me, and it was this most hate-filled website. It was like, we set this up, we went to school with her, and they'd put a picture of me stolen from Sony's professional website, and they'd drawn like little boobs on it and spots, and they were like, she was a slag and she's got no boobs and she's spotty and she's ugly, and like absolutely tore into me. And they had this lovely sort of guest book, I think we'll call it a guest book, and it had put your name, obviously, email address if you want to share, where do you know Holly from, and would you spit on her if she was on fire. Harsh. And so they had like comments on there and stuff, and it was like it was really negative, and it was set up by somebody from school. So obviously I'm gonna say it was girls. It was definitely girls. Boys just wouldn't have done that. So yeah, so I had that, and actually at the time my manager just went, that's amazing, like it's such good publicity. And it's just sad. I really genuinely just feel sad for people like that, and I feel the need to put out that kind of negativity, because no happy people do that. Happy people don't spend their time making a whole website. In fact, that's what I commented on it. I just said, thank you so much for taking the time to make a whole website about me, because quite frankly, I don't know who you are, and I clearly haven't given you a second thought since I left school. So that was funny. But yeah, more largely, you just don't see those people again. And when you're involved when you're in school and you're dealing with all the emotions, because you got a whole load of emotions going on in you when you're a teenager, just kind of take them with a pinch of salt, because your emotions feel really deep then. And as you get older, you just start to toughen up. You get a few more knocks, and a few more things happen, and you realise, do you know what, life is short, and you should just do what makes you happy. And that people will always have opinions. Always they will have opinions, whether you do something or you don't. And it's really none of their business, and how they look at you and what they think about you is also none of your business, because those people that give you grief and things like that, they only know bits of you. They only know what they see you through their filter. That doesn't make it who you are. You don't have to take that on board. You know, there's always those people. And I know when you're in school and it's really tough, and you're going through that real hard stuff, or getting really bullied or anything like that, please do reach out to people. Even if it's not your teacher, you know, reach out to somebody who can help, somebody who's, you know, an older sibling, or a friend's older sibling, or a neighbour. Talk to somebody about it. Don't keep it in your head. Write it down, do stuff, get it out of your head, and then just let it go, because this won't be forever. And I know it's hard right now if you're in the midst of it, but you will come through it. Find other stuff around the school, so find other good things, and if, you know, you're in school and your people aren't, you know, you're not really finding your clique in school, whatever that is, then look outside. You know, the internet's such a good tool now for finding finding your gang, finding your tribe of weirdos. And that's the great thing about it. You can be your own true weird and wonderful self, and talk about the things that you love, and you can find common people on the internet, find people that are similar to you on the internet. Do be careful of that though. Never give out your address to strangers. Never do, you know, never, yeah, just be careful. There's some weirdos on there as well. So just, you know, if you're younger, just be careful with that. But yeah, Jess, I'm assuming from what you're saying that you're going through a whole lot of emotions right now. And just stay cool, and those emotions will come and go. Don't feel like that is you and that's you forever, and these things will calm down. And just try and find some good time. Be kind to yourself, you know, be kind to yourself. Stop all the comparison stuff for everybody else's lives, because we all know it's filtered. We all know that everybody wakes up in the morning with dribble down their mouth and sleep in their eyes and morning breath, and without their makeup on, bags into their eyes. It might just be me. It's not just me, and it's not just you, okay? We're all the same really, and we just don't like to admit that. And some people filter their photos more, and that's okay, because they're just trying to get through it as well. And you know, actually some people from school have apologized to me, which is interesting, and fair play to them, and said that they were going through a tough time as well. So those people that are being mean to you, just try and remember that mean people, they've gone through some stuff in their own heads as well. So use pity, and it doesn't mean you have to knock about with them, but just go, you know what, they're obviously pretty unhappy, because happy people don't pick on other people. They don't. So it's a shame for them, and you can just be your cool self at home with your other friends, with your, you know, just win battles in your own head. This is what I like to say. So if people are being mean to you, or you're going through a tough time, just in your head, just go, do you know what, you don't know the real me, you don't know what I'm capable of, the good stuff, the positive stuff that I'm capable of, and I'll show you as I get older, and you can look back, and just like me, when people message me and they pretend that, obviously now, because I have, you know, a level of profile on social media and stuff like that, certainly in the UK, I get people that message me and they're like, yeah, well, you know, it was lovely to go to school with you, and I know, and they know, that they were arseholes to me at school, but it doesn't matter, because I still win. And you will still win when you succeed in your life, in whatever that is that you're going to do, and you look back and those people want to be around you, and you can just smile and welcome them in, and know that you both know that they were mean at school. And yeah, everybody that's successful got picked on at school. Fact. Everybody. Because we all got messed up and strong, super strong, and that's what you're going to be, Jess, and everybody else who is watching this. I hope this helps, and I will see you tomorrow on Vlogmas Day 7. See you later. Bye.